24,000 red box kiosks left abandoned after the company declared bankruptcy.
These kiosks, which once held more than 600 DVDs each, now pose safety hazards, clog remodeling plans, and require bankruptcy court permission to remove. Just getting them out can be costly and complex. Some are hardwired into electrical systems, bolted into concrete. Most kiosks will be sold for scrap, but if you could find new life as collector's items or even repurposed for other uses like cannabis vending.
ABC's Dave Packer. New details emerging in the accident involving a tour group inside a gold mine in Teller County, Colorado.
What went wrong in the elevator in a shaft about 500 feet down, investigators say is not yet clear. The elevator may have dropped a bit and something happened with the doors. But Teller County Sheriff Jason Mikesell says 46-year-old tour guide Patrick Weir was killed, the father of a 7-year-old child.
I will tell you that we did lose a person in our local community who will be missed.
12 other people who were trapped in the mine after the accident were rescued uninjured hours later. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Nearly 10 million pounds of ready-to-eat meat and poultry sold at retailers like Walmart and Trader Joe's are being recalled due to possible listeria contamination. No illnesses have been reported, but if you've got them, you're advised to throw them away. Ground stop ordered at Newark Airport after an equipment outage has now been lifted. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
I'm Bill Walter, KBNU News. News brought to you by Roof Rescue. A valuable resource for people dealing with mental issues is on hold for right now. Things are up in the air for the National Alliance for Mental Illness, or NAMI's, Utah office, as their services were put on hold while the state office finishes dealing with money woes. Terry Bowersick, who used to volunteer with NAMI in Logan, said the state office is restructuring due to some financial issues and thus putting the services on hold. Although the Logan NAMI office has reached out to the state office, they have not received any information from them. Borisik said that they were referring everyone to their online programs until things are resolved at the state office, but those are on hold for now as well. NAMI Logan groups met face-to-face until COVID made them stop. Then they started meeting online and had virtual meetings. During the pandemic, the number of people needing help grew, and the services they offered were not as effective because they could not meet in person to discuss issues. They were serving about 200 people in Cache Valley until they shut down their program. Borisik said they had classes to help anyone from 13 years old and up dealing with a variety of behavior issues. During the 1970s, family support groups scattered around the nation were seeking answers and treatments for their loved ones affected by mental illness. A group of families formed a nonprofit association that eventually became NAMI in 1979. The organization has helped thousands with mental illness over the years. A 31-year-old Montpelier, Idaho man is headed to prison for driving under the influence and causing a fatal crash that killed 3 people and injured another in Logan Canyon over 18 months ago. Kylan Romrell cried and said how he wished he was the one who had died in the crash as the victims' families pleaded for justice. Romrell was sentenced October 9th in Logan's 1st District Court. He previously accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to 4 felony counts of negligently operating a vehicle resulting in death or serious bodily injury and driving under the influence. Judge Brian Cannell said he has seen too many DUI cases during his 11 years as a judge. He gave Romrell the maximum sentence allowed under Utah law for the charges, between 3 to 30 years in the Utah State Correctional Facility. He expressed concern with how the legislature has reduced the sentencing guidelines for these types of crimes over the years that he has been on the bench. And an Orem man riding his bicycle on the way to work was killed early Wednesday after being struck by a car driven by a woman who had fallen asleep at the wheel. Kevin Joseph Doan was on his bike in Springville just before 1:30 a.m. when he was hit. When officers arrived at the scene, they found the 61-year-old unconscious on the side of the road. Doan was treated at the scene and transported to Utah Valley Hospital, where he later died. Police said the 18-year-old female driver of the vehicle claimed that she was feeling drowsy and had fallen asleep before veering out of her lane and striking Doan. The unidentified driver stopped and immediately called 911 to report the incident. Although an impairment check was negative, the woman could face charges of negligent homicide, no valid Utah driver's license, and failure to operate within a single lane. KBNU weather brought to you by Logan Extermination. Get your lawn sprayed for weeds and treated for those pesky voles. Call Logan Extermination at 752-8450. Partly cloudy tonight, low in the upper 40s, and then mostly sunny around 80 on Saturday, sunny around 78 on Sunday. Get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
Roof Rescue is your local roofing specialist, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry no matter the weather. Their team of experienced roofers is here to serve you, providing top quality service at affordable prices. From minor repairs to complete roof replacements, they've got you covered. Remember, your roof is your first line of defense in protecting your family from the elements. So don't wait until the next storm to discover your roof problems. Call Roof Rescue today at 435-999-4268. They're your trusted local roofing experts, here to keep your home safe and dry. Roof Rescue, celebrating 10 years of providing watertight peace of mind.
Fast and first with the latest news every 30 minutes. News Talk KVNU, your number one radio station for news and talk.
Even though the weather's grown colder, you still have time to have your fruit trees pruned. Logan Extermination says your trees need to be trimmed back in order to achieve success next year. And this is the first step to a bountiful harvest. However, you could do more bad than good if you don't know what you're doing. Save the headache and call Logan Extermination today and get a jump on tree pruning. Prices will vary depending on your needs. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
This is Kyle at Advanced Door, and we guarantee every garage door we install for a lifetime, parts and labor. That's every door, every spring, every roller, every track, every motor. The entire garage door system guaranteed for a lifetime, parts and labor. We're Advanced Door, and we guarantee you'll be hearing this for a long time. Find out more at advanced-door.com. That's advanced-door.com.
Hey, this is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October marks our 16th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary,
we will buy you dinner at Sweeto Burrito or a sweet treat from Yumberry the entire month of October. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping, and date night is on us. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Your Edward Jones financial advisor wants to help make your retirement goals a reality. They can help you figure out where you are today and how to get you where you expect to be. Working together, you can plan for what you want and be ready to take on anything unexpected along the way. Call one of our 11 branch locations in Cache Valley or go to edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. Only 1 hour of For the People today as we make way for sporting events. Logan High, it's a 5 o'clock game. kind of early. This is also an opportunity to give everyone an hour one to hear a bit of the For the People movie show. Andy Morgan joining me in just a few minutes. He's making his way here now. He says via text, which I hope he sent while he was at least at a stoplight. In theaters this weekend, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. This is a biopic documentary made by his family working with Universal Studios and 20th Century Fox together for footage from all of the movies he was in. But, of course, he's most famous for playing Superman. So the Christopher Reeve story, Super/Man, is in theaters here in Logan as of today. And the only new film to hit theaters, well, there's two. One is a bring back of sorts. This was actually released way back in August, but didn't make its way to Cache Valley until now. And Andy made it. And it's called White Bird, from the best-selling author of Wonder. It's all it really says on the poster. And from the acclaimed director of A Man Called Otto and Finding Neverland. And that is in theaters here in Logan, rated PG-13. And I don't know what it's about because the synopsis is showing for a different movie at the Megaplex site. Hello, Mr. Morgan. Okay, here we go. From the world of Wonder, which sparked the movement to choose kind.
You didn't know there was going to be a Wonder universe.
This is like Marvel, but for feel goods. This is the inspirational next chapter. White Bird struggling to fit in at his new school after being expelled for his treatment of Augie Pullman. Julian is visited by his grandmother, Helen Mirren, and is transformed by the compassionate and heroic story of her attempts to escape Nazi-occupied France.
Yeah, it's really less of a story about Julian, also a great Carly Rae Jepsen song. Things you don't think you'd expect.
And John Lennon's favorite kid.
Wasn't his only kid.
Yes, it was.
Well, the one, never mind.
Made myself laugh.
Anyway, that was good.
We're off to a great start.
That was good. Yeah, Friday. Things you didn't expect to hear on a Friday, which is actually the sub name of this show. Welcome to the KVNU For the People movie show.
And other stuff.
And other things you didn't expect to hear on a Friday. But to your point, actually somebody at work this week told me that if they were going to cross-stitch something that I say often on a pillow, it's to your point.
To your point.
It's a great filler. To your point. Anyway, I didn't think, honestly, Wonder, I thought Good Boys was actually part of the Wonder universe. Same kid.
Good Boys is to the Wonder universe what The Boys on Amazon is to the Marvel universe.
That's fair. That's fair.
The same genre, but different, very different rating.
Same, but different. Same kid who also, got his start in The Room with Brie Larson. Speaking of tying things to Marvel,
it's
a good movie, but difficult, obviously, to watch.
One of those movies that when people ask you, should I see it, you kind of think, yeah, but I'm not saying you'll enjoy it. But you should see it.
I will say, here's a thought that I have. I would say, if you're going to go see something this weekend, because I got a couple movies for you. The movie I saw that's coming out this week is Saturday Night.
Oh, good, because I'm curious. I saw The Wild Robot.
What'd you think?
You want to hear my review? Aw.
Yeah. So let me ask you, did you see Inside Out?
Really good.
Did you see Inside Out too?
I haven't yet.
So that's my question is I wonder.
Disney Plus keeps trying to ram it down my throat, though. Have you seen the marketing for that when you launched Disney Plus?
The honest trailer for that's pretty funny too.
Watch it now. Just watch it.
Is this ad giving you anxiety? Well, jump in.
Watch it, and we'll stop shoving this ad at you.
No, I was going to say it's been an interesting start to what I would call post-summer movie season, and also kind of sliding into Oscar season. I don't think White Bird, A Wonder Story, is going to be one of those that gets nominated. The story that I think is very funny is The Joker, Folie à Deux.
Oh, people are so mad.
Well, but here's the thing.
It seems like the right people are mad.
Nobody cares. Like, the director doesn't care. Apparently, when you start...
The things he said, I feel like this was his intent. I think he was a little upset at who...
I think he was mad at a lot of people, the fans, and I think he's also mad at the studio saying, you got to do a
Yeah, they forced him to make this.
He didn't want to. He didn't take one phone call from James Gunn or anybody.
All right, fine.
So I think...
I'll make you a movie. There you go.
They were like, what can we expect?
What do you think
is
of
this
the
full
ending?
transformation of the Joker? He's like, okay, what about Joker but Hello Dolly? Just something super strange. Let me say this. I am so, again, if you're a fan of Saturday Night Live, one of my favorite things is when I hear people say things like, oh, Saturday Night Live's still around? You're like, yes. They're like, oh, it wasn't. It was funny at one time, and I'm like, are you 80? Like, what? And when did you? The
thing about Saturday Night Live is it waxes and wanes.
It's always funny. It's just what degree of funny. I don't think people understand the amount of effort and things to go into it. If you want an inside look,
because there have been some bad years.
Yeah, like the Billy Crystal 84, 85 year, which is weird to say because Billy Crystal in my mind is, a genius.
He got funny.
There was some post Dana Carvey stuff that wasn't super funny with like Colin, what's his name, that did the Weekend Update that passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah. They were kind of building back up with Phil, the guy that died.
Yeah, Phil Hartman.
He was kind of building them back up, and then he died, and it sort of
and then you had Chris
again.
Farley. There's always like some tormented soul in this. What I would say though is, it seems like what they do, and I think the cast is a little more transient today because these guys get jettisoned into fame pretty quick. There was a lot of people in the 80s that, they all have like taste of fame for just a little bit.
Wasn't that kind of what Bob Woodward wrote? The book about John Belushi, and that was the one takeaway I remember is this guy, he didn't have a reason to say no to anything that was being offered to him, but he did some pretty big movies while still working as a cast member.
Well,
and he was very rich suddenly and very famous suddenly and dead a year later. And
well, these people also on the Saturday night, the other thing about this that I think is important to realize is they really don't, what's the right word for it? A lot of these folks, it's not something they're prepared. These are like, a lot of these folks are classically trained actors. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I always thought was cool about this. You had these classically trained, you had professional actors meeting up against people like Eddie Murphy playing buckwheat. That was one of my favorite things about some of the original, before I was even able, like I was not of media watching age, that era of Saturday Night Live. And then I sort of discovered Saturday Night Live in the Dana Carvey years.
I think a lot of people did that. You and I are similar age, and that was what I would call kind of the SNL we grew up with.
Yeah. Think about all the cultural influences. If you say, isn't that special, everyone over the age
knows.
of 35 at least knows what you're talking about.
We're here to pump you up, right? There's that. And everybody knows Schwing, Wayne's World. And
it was famous for a while, but now he's kind of lost his mind, so I don't like to say it as often. But I used to really like the Making Copies. It was a predecessor to Office Space.
Jason
Copies.
Jason Ding.
But don't watch anything else Rob Schneider has done because the guy has lost it, and it's sad because he used to be so funny.
I would think if you went through some of these famous people's lives who have kind of gone off the deep end into like QAnon territory or like mega right wing territory. Just like super out and like in, right or left field, whatever side. These folks, I guarantee, and this is my Andy putting on his tinfoil hat, there's some misdeeds in there that there is some wanting to atone for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, it's a very select group. Like Kevin, anyway, we won't even go into that. But here's what I would say. This is one of the first kind of early entries, I believe, into Oscar territory so far.
Really?
I mean, there's been things throughout the year.
So it's because the trailer doesn't make it look like that kind of a movie at all.
I mean, it's directed by Jason Reitman.
He's good.
And Reitman he's done quite a bit. And people think of him like, because, they think of Ghostbusters and things like that. But, as far as feature films, I mean, this is Thank You for Smoking, Juno, Up in the Air.
Well, and he said in an interview that he made this movie for his dad, his late father.
Yeah.
He said his dad was a huge fan, a huge contributor in a lot of ways to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Also, Ivan Reitman pulled most of his cast for most of his movies from Saturday Night Live. And so Jason said he wanted to make this almost as a tribute to his dad. But he said then he started learning more of the stories, more of the cast member stories, and he realized there's actually a compelling biopic story to tell here.
And here's a funny thing, is it's actually not, like, I think somebody might go into this and think, oh, is there going to be some juicy gossip or something controversial? There's really not. It's a very nice portrayal. I would say if anyone looks like not good, it would be probably 4 or 5 people. One, I mean, they definitely portray John Belushi as a tormented genius, who's kind of full of himself. Chevy Chase, definitely full of himself. Also, Johnny Carson is not looked as a nice person in this show. Milton Berle
that
as well.
Beef is so weird. That Johnny Carson Saturday Night Live Lorne Michaels beef.
It was just
no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I think his thought was
he hated him.
They were in a contract dispute, and so this Saturday Night Live was basically a threat against Johnny, basically saying, "Hey, you know what? Instead of running a rerun of the Tonight Show, we'll do something else."
Yeah.
And according to the movie, if you again, I haven't read the book, but according to the movie, right up until probably 10 seconds before the show was supposed to go live, one of the big wigs at NBC sat there like literally weighing, do we do this or do we?
Because they were afraid they'd lose Carson.
Well,
which is funny because he didn't really have anywhere else to go. But
yeah, no, you're right. At
the time,
one thing I was actually thinking as I looked through, Jason Reitman's filmography, I mean, this guy really is, pretty much like he's like, he's batting a good average because I mean, again, Thank You for Smoking. You've seen that. That's a fantastic movie.
What was the Netflix series?
I don't know of a Netflix series.
Working Moms? Wasn't he involved in Working Moms?
No. That's a different crew. But Thank You for Smoking.
I thought that was Reitman.
Juno, he both wrote and Juno, he wrote. Diablo Cody, or he directed. Diablo Cody wrote it. But Up in the Air with George Clooney, both that, Juno, and Thank You for Smoking were Oscar-nominated movies.
Yeah.
Young Adult with Charlize Theron, that was also written by Diablo Cody, didn't really do well at the box office or get a big, didn't really, I don't think it had a lot of fanfare, but the movie's actually really, really good.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I would tell you to see, if you have a chance, see Young Adult. Another one that's great that people didn't really see a lot. It's a 2011 movie, and it has Jason Segel and I believe Ed Helms and Susan Sarandon, and it's called Jeff Who Lives at Home. And it's really, really good. Very tender show. Another one.
Oh, it's his wife, Catherine, in Working Moms.
Oh, okay. There you go. She's funny. The other one I would throw out here is Men, Women, and Children. Very low, like he wrote, directed, and produced it. And this is, if you wanted to, it's 10 years old now. So I get that there might be some dated things. But if you wanted to watch a movie about like intertwining families and teens in like this kind of internet heavy social media generation, that's a good movie.
Okay.
It's like, it's really good actually. He also did The Front Runner, which, do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was actually, that's a biopic. Is it biopic or biopic?
I like biopic, but I think it's actually biopic.
That doesn't make any sense, so I'm just going to say
I like biopic.
Biopic.
When you're talking about a movie, I think you should say biopic.
Yeah, what would biopic mean?
Fits better.
The Biopic Man. Anyway. Frontrunner was Hugh Jackman playing Gary. Why can't I think of his last name? The presidential nominee in I think 84 or 88.
Yeah.
He was a front runner, and then he got, he was a
long-running Bloom County joke.
He was photographed on that boat, remember, with that woman, and it's really, honestly, just kind of an innocent photograph.
That's right.
There's nothing terrible about it.
Yeah.
But what it implied was that he was having an extramarital affair, and I mean, he was the front runner for the Democratic ticket. Yeah, and that he was ejected right after that. Today,
that's not even a full day news story today.
Yeah, today, people would just be like, "Well, okay, moving on."
Mild compared to what happened this morning.
So my only thing with Jason Reitman is, I again say what you want. Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Feels like a little detour for him. Maybe he needed something a little lighter fare for the last couple.
I feel like that was almost maybe a dad tribute thing. I have to clarify something, too. Catherine is not Jason Reitman's wife. It's his sister.
Well, I mean, if it was in Game of Thrones, we don't know.
Is his sister.
We have no
idea. If you haven't seen Working Moms, remember the opening episode?
Yeah.
The class, just so funny.
The whole show is really funny.
Yeah.
I also say probably one of my favorite things, two favorite things about Saturday Night Live. I gave it a flat out A.
Really?
It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's just
you haven't given many A's this year.
No, I haven't, and
that's impressive.
It's frenetic is the word I would describe, because you can keep up, but there's never a part where you're like, well, I'm bored.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Most movies have like a little interlude where you kind of go, all right, I'm not like glued to the edge of my seat, but this is very frenetic. There's just no slowing down. I love that. I love that. And I also love the cast is just phenomenal.
I heard that the casting itself, someone said, a Hollywood insider said, someone should make a movie of the casting itself for this movie, because it was hilarious and it was everyone was having fun, but it got really competitive because these people really wanted to play these characters, whoever they end up playing.
Well, and they do good because they don't make him.
J.K. Simmons play?
He plays Milton Berle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I believe it's.
Right.
Well, you know what? Actually, let me say this: they don't ever really say. Right.
Well, the cast list, if you look at IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, even the Megaplex website, they're all billed as actor. So even in the cast list, they're not telling you who these famous.
Yeah.
Because you've got Willem Dafoe, Finn Wolfhard, J.K. Simmons, Dylan O'Brien, Matthew Rhys. I mean, these are some people who've been around, and then they're just billed as playing an actor.
Yeah, I mean, if I look through here really quick on Wikipedia, J.K. Simmons is Milton Berle. It's pretty, but
that's funny.
There's some interesting.
That's good casting.
Like, for instance, Matthew Rhys, who's I think it's Rhys. I'm not pronouncing.
I think you're right. I think it's Rhys.
He plays George Carlin. You would never notice him because he has a beard, and George Carlin was the first host of Saturday Night Live. You've got. I'm trying to remember. Dick Ebersol is so great. That's such a great thing. But here's my favorite. Nicholas Braun, who people will probably know through Succession.
Okay. He's
like Tom's, I can't remember if it's his cousin or what the relation is, but he's the real tall guy with, kind of Ichabod Crane features. Okay. He plays Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was so great.
That's pretty good.
Honestly, there is a real good chance that I could probably have him on my best supporting actor shortlist, because he's so under the radar, but he's so impactful.
That is very cool,
and he's playing dual roles, so it's just great.
That is,
I didn't really notice. I didn't really know anyone else. The one I thought was actually really good too, and I was like, "Dang, man, Nicholas Braun and Dylan O'Brien are really gonna have a race for me here." Dylan O'Brien, who is not a household name, but if you saw his face, you'd go, "Oh, that guy."
He was in the
Maze Runner
movies.
Yeah,
Teen Wolf.
Yep. Very. He was in the Interns.
Oh,
so I just remember
forgot about that.
But he
has quite a role in the Interns.
On the line. But he plays Dan Aykroyd, and he knocks it out of the park.
Really?
Yeah. This is again what I loved is that I'm glad they didn't take the current actors and de-age them or really try to match face to face. I mean, they just.
Although I heard a lot of them coached. Dan Aykroyd coached I didn't know it was Dylan O'Brien playing him, but Dan Aykroyd coached him.
Yeah.
And so they brought in some of the friendly to this movie Saturday Night Live cast alumni. Before we go to the news, so knowing you're going to talk about this today, I wasn't expecting you to give it an A. And for listeners, this is in both theaters here in Logan as of today.
Yeah.
I was digging through some Saturday Night Live trivia, knowing we were going to talk about this today.
I like it.
Here's the one thing I found that most people won't know. I didn't know this. I've never heard this before. But apparently the cast and production favorite story about history/story of a Saturday Night Live skit is the story behind Diner Lobster. Which I've seen the skit.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's not one of my. It's not the best, but it's hilarious. It's funny.
John Mulaney.
Yeah, this is hilarious. So the story behind that is John Mulaney and Colin Jost actually wrote that skit.
Yep.
A long time before it actually, almost 9 years before it actually ran on Saturday Night Live. They wrote it. It got cut. The rest of the writers' crew vetoed it and said, no, not funny enough. Yeah. And in 2018, they wanted John Mulaney to come back, and he said, I will do it under one condition. We do the Diner Lobster, and Kate McKinnon has to play, it's not Cosette from Les Miserables, it's Clausette in the skit.
Yeah.
For those not familiar with it, Diner Lobster is a parody of Les Miserables, but it's two people ordering lobster at a restaurant.
It's hilarious. It's super funny. Another
story makes it even funnier.
Oh yeah.
10 years almost. And
the
John
other
Mulaney's
one,
like, I'm not coming back unless.
The other thing I would point out is there are a lot of people that were writers at Saturday Night Live that if we told you, you would be like, oh my gosh, really? Like Bob Odenkirk, folks like that.
Yeah.
But here's what I'd say: if you want a fun book that gives you a really nice glimpse into today's SNL, read A Very Punchable Face by Colin Jost. Just really good.
He's very funny.
If you knew how many things they write during the week and what percentage of that actually sees the light of day.
Yeah. I want to know when Colin Jost and I forget the other guy's name.
Michael Che,
when they write
the joke swap,
fake news headlines for each other.
Yeah,
but it's with a racial.
It's always uncomfortable. Yeah,
it's so uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's so illuminating. Because but I want to know how many of them they write that they decide not too far.
Jost said that about skits. He said sometimes we'll do a skit and someone will go, "Wow." That really and he goes, you should read the ones that get cut.
That's what I want. One day they just need to publish every script that got cut because it was too much.
I mean, you got to tip your hat to Lorne Michaels. I mean, to put a nice bow on this SNL, that show.
They've taken some risks.
Again, impact on society and its longevity, whether you like it currently or not, or you've come in and out.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
That is, Chris Christopherson passed away recently. Yeah. A little Saturday Night Live story about him I learned after his death. So he was a big defender. Remember I don't remember if it was late 80s, early 90s, but to protest what was happening in Ireland to her family.
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor tore in half a photo of the Pope.
On SNL.
And it was
live.
A protest. And there were calls to ban SNL. The usual players were out freaking out about it. Chris Christopherson was a big defender because he said, one, this is free speech. Saturday Night Live is absolutely a venue for free speech. They shouldn't be held accountable for what she did. He said, she maybe should have told them she was going to do this so she can sweep them up in the controversy. But he said, this is an artist being an artist, having an opinion and making a statement. And also, I happen to agree with her.
But he said it like this.
Yeah, the criticism is that the Catholic Church had been kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge some of the violent terrorist groups in Ireland.
Yeah.
Because it served political purposes. And so she was protesting that. Well, so they wanted Chris Christopherson to come on a few years later. And he said he wouldn't come on unless Sinead O'Connor came and they were going to sing a duet. It ended up not happening because of some scheduling conflict, but that was his writer. That's the only condition he asked for in his week contract to be on Saturday Night Live as the guest performer and host was that Sinead O'Connor be invited back.
I can't.
And they did. They said, okay.
I can't listen to Sinead O'Connor because I had dated a girl one time in high school who sat in a dark room listening to Sinead O'Connor and crying for an afternoon.
That's emo before emo existed.
I was like, well, I'm out.
What? Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, I would be canceled today. Actually probably already have been canceled.
I think both of us a couple of times. They can't get rid of us.
No offense, sorry.
We'll be back. We'll be back after this look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. UDOT urges drivers to plan ahead for a full closure of northbound I-15 near the Roy and Riverdale exit tonight for nighttime bridge work for a new freeway interchange. When complete, the new I-15 interchange at 5600 South in Roy will make it easier to get to and from Hill Air Force Base. The project is also widening 5600 South from 3 to 5 lanes. Northbound I-15 will close at 10 p.m., with one lane reopening at 5 a.m., and all lanes expected to be fully open by 9 a.m. Saturday. During the closure, drivers will be diverted off the interstate onto exit 338 and back onto I-15 via the northbound on-ramp. As part of this project, UDOT is adding new sidewalks, pedestrian ramps, and a new trail system for pedestrians and cyclists. These improvements will help area residents get around more easily, whether they are walking, biking, or driving. Construction started in 2023 and is expected to continue through 2026. A judge will decide how much information about TikTok's internal business operations will be made public following a hearing where the state of Utah pushed for it to be released. In a hearing on Thursday, TikTok attorneys urged 3rd District Court Judge Coral Sanchez to resist ordering the public disclosure of information about the social media giant contained in a redacted complaint filed by the state. They argued the information could disclose competitive secrets about the video app and internal company operations. The hearing on Thursday centered around Utah's latest lawsuit against TikTok. The Utah Division of Consumer Protection alleges the company's live streaming and virtual currency system could lead to the sexual exploitation of youth. Utah State Aggie football tonight for homecoming, a rare Friday night game as Utah State is hosting UNLV at Merlin Olsen Field tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll have the game for you. And before the game, a 2-hour Aggie Game Day that kicks off at 5 o'clock this afternoon here on KVNU. Weather is brought to you by Roof Rescue, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry from minor repairs to complete roof replacement. RoofRescueUSA.com or call 435-999-4268. Looking at partly cloudy skies tonight, low in the upper 40s, and then mostly sunny on Saturday, high around 80. Get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The people affected by damage from Hurricane Helene and Milton seeing an outpouring of help include Scott and Sari Dici, St. Petersburg, Florida.
A roofing company that we know heard what happened. They came right out to our house and all day yesterday helped get the tree off, helped get the roof taped up. And a neighbor we've never even met before came over and spent a good chunk of the day helping us take care of some of that damage. So that was really great to see.
Former President Trump in Aurora, Colorado.
With the help of everyone here today, 25 days from now, think of it, 25 days, we are going to defeat Kamala Harris.
VP Harris in an event with Republican supporters in Scottsdale, Arizona. Boeing will cut about 10% of its workforce over the coming months, about 17,000 jobs, says its chief. This is ABC News.
Fall is the perfect time to landscape, and Canyon Landscaping is ready to build or transform your outdoor space. They bring your vision to life with expert care, including installing beautiful planting beds and crafting custom paver patios. They handle your entire project from start to finish, and they have the team to get the design just right. But hurry, spots are filling up fast. Visit CanyonLandscaping.com or call 752-3838 today. Let's make your outdoor space a true extension of your home. Call Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Solid gains for the day and the week for the major indexes. The S&P 500 and Dow closing at new record highs and finishing a fifth straight winning week. The S&P gained 35. The Dow added 410 points, and the Nasdaq index finished 61 points higher. The Nasdaq was kept in check by an 8.4% slide for Tesla shares. It was the heaviest weight on the markets. The electric vehicle maker unveiled its long-awaited robotaxi Thursday night, but critics highlighted a lack of details about its planned rollout. The Cybercab's potential rival, Uber Technologies, jumped 9.8%. Lyft rose 8.9%. Wells Fargo jumped 6.3% after reporting a stronger profit for the latest quarter than analysts expected. BlackRock and Bank of New York Mellon also climbed after delivering results that topped analyst forecasts. BlackRock said it ended the summer managing a record $11.5 trillion in total assets. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Saturday, October 12th, the Cache Valley Media Group has teamed up with Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology to bring you the 2024 USU Homecoming Parade. Come down to Main Street or watch the live stream on CacheValleyDaily.com. The parade kicks off at 10 a.m. sharp. Thanks to our sponsor, Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, helping you hear every moment loud and clear. Don't miss the 2024 USU Homecoming Parade, October 12th at 10 a.m. Be there or watch it live on CacheValleyDaily.com.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson at Wilson Motor Company. It's time for our fall clearance sales event. We have a great selection of over 130 new Fords and over 60 Nissans that need to go. All 24 models have closeout pricing. We have rebates up to $9,000 and rates as low as 0% for 72 months. Or we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Now is a great time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com. Hurry in, our fall clearance sales event ends soon.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People.
That was actually really, really pretty.
It's one of the, you hear this song and part of you is like, I'm going to turn that off. And the other part is like, I'm going to wait for the chorus. It's a fight between those two U's every time Christopher Cross comes on.
I heard this live in concert in 2022.
Really?
Yeah. I had COVID at the time and had no idea.
Dead.
I was like, man, why do I feel so crappy? So sorry to every old person that I gave it to.
How did you end up at a yacht rock concert?
Christopher Cross's concert in Salt Lake.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I like it.
I'm new.
You had to mute because you were coughing, and then you had to mute me because I was swearing.
I accidentally pushed both.
Jason was like, "Oh," and he swore, and I just coughed. So we had a double trouble. Hey, so I want to kick something off through the rest of the month, and I want to do it with a review of a movie that you can stream now because we're entering scary season. We officially did last week, right?
Wait, before you do this, can I do my Real Wild Robot review? It's very quick.
Yeah. Yes. Jason, you can do a review.
And also, let listeners know we're going to wrap up a bit early tonight so we can transition to to Logan High.
Yeah.
At 5:00. But so we'll wrap up about 4 minutes early this hour. But so my very quick review: go see this. It is basically everything you would expect from a DreamWorks animated film.
Yep.
The animation's amazing. The voice work. I'd never heard of Kit Connor before. I went and looked him up and saw some things. He's been in some really popular Netflix series. He's British. Very good voice actor. He plays the young duck.
Okay.
But Lupita Nyong'o does this amazing. Anyway,
she's fantastic.
It's moving in all the ways you'd expect an animated movie made PG rated, but made for kids to be. It's exciting. It's fast paced. It's got an original story, but with all the staples at the same time of a DreamWorks anime. Anyway, go see it. It's really good. Probably one of the better.
Yeah.
Of the last few years. But again, I haven't seen Inside Out 2, which I've heard is the best. So anyway, there's my quick review. Back to what you were saying.
No, I was going to say, since we're in spooky season, right?
Sure.
We got scary movies. And I make a goal every October to watch usually about 10 scary movies that I've never seen before. Okay. I don't rewatch stuff. You know me.
Yeah.
Last year, remember, I watched Halloween for the first time. The comedy from the 70s. That's the one I watched.
Except for that couch scene at the end. That's the only actually scary part.
Not the current Halloween. That is way scarier. So I kicked it off this week. There's a new movie on Max or HBO Max or HBO Go, whatever you want to call it. We won't call it Max because then people are like, wait, is that Cinemax? No. HBO Max, if you have it, you can stream full feature-length movie that the Warner Brothers CEO, David Zaslav, decided to not release into theaters, called Salem's Lot. And this is based off the 1975 novel by Stephen King. One thing I'd like to point out on that.
I started watching this last night.
Yeah.
I made it to the movie or the drive-in date.
Okay.
That's about where I hit pause.
Oh, so you're right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So this actually stars Lewis Pullman, who everyone probably remember from Top Gun Maverick. This is Bill Pullman, the president in the Independence Day, his son, Jason's favorite movie, again, Independence Day. We'd both love it more if it was Independence Day and they recreated it with Muppets. So,
I think that would be a better movie.
Fantastic.
Can you imagine the Harvey Feinstein Muppet?
Hey! Yeah, can I say something, though? In Saturday Night, that movie, Jim Henson, I enjoyed them ridiculing the Muppets so much.
They weren't fans of Muppets. That's kind of famous.
Honestly, that might have made that put it from like an A- to an A for me. I was like, yeah, get those Muppets. Get them.
They really weren't. Jim Henson wanted to do big things with Muppets on Saturday Night Live multiple times, and
I don't like the script.
They were not fans.
I don't like what they're doing here with the script.
Yeah, well, because they kept trying to make Muppets. I mean, not R-rated, but Saturday Night Live gets close to that.
Yeah,
right?
They didn't want to make the Muppets. Yeah. Jim Henson wanted to go on to do Sesame Street and other things, and not have people go, "Ooh, that's the Saturday Night Live crew." One of the best things about Salem's Lot, here's what I'll say. I watched this, and I'd say this. I've seen as dumb, scary movies in theaters before. So could this have had a theater run? Absolutely. Would it have made some money? Absolutely. Is it something that the theaters aren't going to miss? Absolutely. It's just, it's not great. And I know this must have been made and completed before COVID or sometime around COVID or around the actors strike.
It's been a while, I know.
Because one of the kids, one of the young kids in this, I think it's Ralph, is the same kid that's in The Boys, that plays Homelander's son. And if you watch the recent season of The Boys, he's like, probably 14.
Yeah.
And in this show, he's like 9. So I was like, something isn't right here. Anyhow, what I love, and one of my favorite parts of the show is it has an actor named Bill Camp. No one's going to know that name, but if you see his face, you go, oh, that guy. And he's so good. And he plays the old school teacher in this. But here's the thing. I watched the old Salem's Lot as well, the 1979 or 78 version. Obviously way better, although that had some iconic actors in it. But this is good. I mean, it's not scary. It's rated R for violence. I didn't really pick up a lot of swearing in it, but what I would say is if you're looking for something new to stream that's scary, this is a good ticket for you.
That opening scene was pretty scary. I also like that they at least what I saw, they're sticking with the book. The original, also made for TV Salem's Lot from the 70s was they took some big departures and made it a little,
But here's what I'd like our listeners to do. Here's your homework assignment for between now and next Friday. Is every Friday up until Halloween, we're just going to keep talking about scary movies. And I have a challenge. You probably don't know. Someone's going to be like, well, how do we know what you saw, Andy? I don't know why I make that sound like people talk like that when they're thinking about me. But I really need some picks. I need some scary movies. Give me something that I've never seen. Don't give me.
I'd like that too.
Give me something that is not like, I don't want Halloween. I don't want Freddy Krueger. I don't want, Friday the 13th, stuff like that. Like,
I have one. Did you ever see His House? It's called His House. Okay, never mind.
With the refugees.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
That was going to be one of mine.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. So, I'm starting to make a little bit of a list, and we'll share more next Friday.
Yeah.
When
I've got a list of scary scenes. So we do this every year. We talk about scariest scenes in movies. I actually put some work into it this year. I started last week.
Okay.
And these are just scenes that got me the most.
I like it.
Some spoilers. That little Darth Maul face that pops out behind what's his name in Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
Just for a split second.
That's creepy.
That, for some reason, that grabs me. And then I finally saw Longlegs, and that she finds her doll scene. I don't know how else to describe. Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah, I don't know why. Those are the two scenes I thought of that probably unnerved me the most. And then the angry chimpanzee in Nope.
Oh, yeah.
That was... those were a few scenes I could think of in which I left the theater kind of still thinking about it and still kind of also going,
One that gets me every time is the fan cam. FAN, not fan like, hey, there's fans in the stands, but fan, the actual fan cam.
Is that
from
2 or
Paranormal
3?
Activity 3?
3.
Yeah. Just because
it's a slow motion pan because it's duct taped to an oscillating fan.
It's terrible
because we're in the 80s now, right? Yeah,
that's
I forgot
creepy.
about that.
That's creepy. The other one that always gets me too. I know we got to wrap up here in a second, but the other one that gets me is Signs, which a lot of people don't think is very scary because it's aliens, and I think it kind of has a dorky ending.
Yeah.
In terms of the alien reveal at the end. But there's a couple things early on in the movie. The leg in the cornfield obviously is super creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other one is, because the scene is constructed so perfectly, is when his daughter comes in and says, there's a monster outside my window. Can I have a glass of water? And you're initially alarmed, but then they go in and they have this beautiful conversation about, like, why do you talk to mom?
Kind of throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is precious. And then he just looks up outside the window and there's somebody standing on the barn.
She wasn't lying.
Yeah, and it's just so creepy. Yucky.
Hey, something for everyone to look forward to next week. We'll be talking horror movies and what hits theaters.
Next week?
Yeah. Nothing from what I can see.
No, I don't think so. I think next week's a blank week.
All right. Perfect time for us to catch up on scary movies, scary movie scenes. If you want to make some recommendations, shoot them our way at kvnuftp@gmail.com. Wrapping up a bit early this evening. That's our show. Stick around. Logan High next.
Homecoming means parades, reunions, and football. Visit Locker 42 and be prepared with an Aggie plush blanket and a seat cushion. Buy yourself a Packer quarterback, Jordan Love, number 10 Aggie throwback jersey. For the guys, Locker 42 recommends an Aggie logoed Travis Matthews or Cutter and Buck polo shirt. For the ladies, find a big selection of popular Nike women's items, including Nike pullover hoodies. True Aggies will be ready for homecoming with a visit to Locker 42.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance, reminding you that when you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. Adopt Pure Love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
Roof Rescue is your local roof specialist, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry no matter the weather. Their team of experienced roofers is here to serve you, providing top quality service at affordable prices. From minor repairs to complete roof replacements, they've got you covered. Remember, your roof is your first line of defense in protecting your family from the elements. So don't wait until the next storm to discover your roof problems. Call Roof Rescue today at 435-999-4268. They're your trusted local roofing experts, here to keep your home safe and dry. Roof Rescue, celebrating 10 years of providing watertight peace of mind.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Happy birthday, Bell Medical. For 8 years, we have had the privilege of helping people feel confident and love their bodies. To celebrate, we're offering a special on our BellSculpt 360 procedure for only $4,800. And for those looking to enhance their transformation, you can bundle it with a mini tuck for $9,500. Slim down, sculpt your body, and boost your confidence. We've helped thousands of patients feel their best, and we'd love to do the same for you. Let's celebrate together. Schedule your free consultation today at bellmedical.com. That's BELLEmedical.com.
Everyone has been asking me, hey, radio guy, what's the forecast for winter? Well, spoiler alert, it's going to be cold, but there is something you can do. Call Cardall's Insulation. With better insulation, you'll be amazed at how much warmer your home is. Get this, as much as 35% of your home's heat is lost through your walls and attic. And if your home was built before 1980, it's even worse. And right now there's a tax credit up to $1,200 for upgrading your insulation. Call Cardall's Insulation for all the details. 755-5012. That's 755-5012.
The newsmakers, the stories.